All right.
Oh man, it is so good to be home. That is such a long drive.
Yeah, you too, huh?
Yeah. Just
Uh, we,
uh,
we 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 put just under 2,000 miles on.
good night. Well, I guess we should do the little jingle with the jingle, like the jangle jingle,
Ching, ching,
because
ching, 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 ching,
that
da,
one.
da, da, da. Yeah,
Yeah.
got it.
Go ahead and do that one. You know what time it is. Time for another train wreck. Welcome to Not Another Baptist Podcast, a weekly podcast about what two pastors in New Mexico are learning in the trenches of church revitalization. I'm Matt Hensley, the pastor of Mayhill Baptist and managing editor for Lifeway Pastors.
And I am Kyle Bierman, pastor of First Baptist Church of Alamogordo and director of replanter development for the North American Mission Board.
And we bring a combined 31 years of ministry experience to the table to tell you exactly what not to do. And you could also say that we are maybe experts in that. I think I would at least say that. Don't you think? Experts at what not to do, Kyle?
Oh, absolutely.
Focus,
yes.
Kyle.
I feel like we could write books on what not to do.
Yeah.
How not to pastor, how not to do a podcast. Man, so many things we could write about what not to do.
Definitely. But before we talk about those books, let's talk about another book, The Word of God, the Christian Standard Bible. And we are grateful for our sponsorship with them, our partnership with them, and encourage you to check it out after the show because this is a fantastic translation, the Christian Standard Bible, because it brings together a blend of readability and, Kyle, drum roll please, accuracy. And hey, what are you doing? You are killing me.
Sorry, my cat decided to wander in and then wander around the room and then scratch at the door to one out.
Okay.
So we'll cut all
Let's
that.
start over.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I had to take my earbuds out because they're not long enough to stretch to the door.
Oh, okay. So I think that intro thing that we did was pretty terrible.
Yeah, I'm willing to go with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's try it all over. All right. Let's focus. Oh, Kyle, it's so good to be home.
Oh,
I missed my bed. I kind of missed my dog, even the worthless one. It's just good to be back.
I miss my bed. I did not miss my dog. I don't miss sitting in the car.
No.
How many miles did y'all put on?
I don't know.
Oh,
a couple of thousand.
We were just shy of 2,000.
Yeah.
11 people crammed into a 15-passenger van for 12 hours.
Did you take the first Alamo van?
No.
Oh.
No, I don't think that one would have gotten us to El Paso. So no.
Well, I have an idea as we get ready to launch this thing.
Okay.
It's Christmas, I think. We're in the Advent season. We're now in the part of time where we can actually celebrate this, unlike some people on this podcast. So I think you need to get like the little jingle thingy as we start the other jingle, like a little jingle thing.
I left my jingle bells. I could be doing the jingle bells.
Okay, go ahead and do that.
Ching 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 da 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 da.
Stop. You know what time it is. Time for another train wreck. Welcome to Not Another Baptist Podcast, a weekly podcast about what two pastors in New Mexico are learning in the trenches of church revitalization. I'm Matt Hensley, the pastor of Mayhill Baptist and managing editor for Lifeway Pastors.
And I am Kyle Bierman, the pastor of First Baptist Church in Alamogordo and the director of replanter development for the North American Mission Board.
And we together somehow bring a combined 31 years of ministry experience to the table. And basically all we've learned over those 31 years is what not to do. And so that's why we started this podcast, to maybe help you learn from some of those mistakes, because we could really write a book. Don't you think, Kyle? A book about what not to do in church ministry.
I think we could write a small library about what not to do. What was so Spurgeon's original sermon set was like 60 something volumes or something like that.
Sure.
Let's let that be our goal, to write 60 something volumes about what not to do in
Isn't
ministry.
there like the collected works of John Piper? It could be the collected failures of Kyle and Matt.
Yeah. And that one sells for like $3,000. So there's our gravy train, man.
But
Right
do you
there.
know what doesn't sell for $3,000? The Christian Standard Bible.
Hey, there you go.
Hey, we are so grateful for our partnership with the Christian Standard Bible because we like to call ourselves the official podcast of the Word of God. We love it. We both use it in our devotionals. We both use it in our sermons. Some of our sermons are better than others, but it is not because of the CSB. It is because we're terrible. But we love the CSB for its blend of readability and accuracy, and encourage you to check it out after the show at csbible.com. Kyle, what are we talking about today? Because we are already lighting this thing on fire.
Yes. So as at the beginning, before the little jingle belly intro, we kind of bantered back and forth about the miles that we put on over the last week and a half for Thanksgiving. And so today we're going to talk about what to do when you are gone, when you are absent, not absent-minded, Matt, but when you are physically absent from.
That's just my normal.
And so the reason that the reason we came up with this is because we're recording this the week after Thanksgiving, right? And you and I were both gone for Thanksgiving. So as probably some of our listeners were too. So share with us, other than driving, what did you do for Thanksgiving?
That's it. I drove.
You drove.
No, we got to my mom and dad's house on Tuesday. And we dove right into eating, quite literally. Some of the friends of the podcast may know, I don't think I've mentioned it on the podcast, but my dad is not in great health. And so we got in, and my dad was in the recliner where he was for that entire week. He can't really walk from the recliner really any further than the bed, and he kind of just goes back and forth from there. And so that was hard to see. But we got up. You might like this, Kyle, because I got a call from my aunt, and she said, "You need to take care of your mom." And I don't know if she's going to listen to this, so I don't know if I should say all of this, but she's dealing with a lot of stress with Dad, and seeing her husband of 50 years, 60 years, whatever it is, 60 years, I think. And this kind of condition is hard. And every Tuesday on these trips, Thanksgiving, Christmas, we will go to Spring Creek Barbecue. And as a barbecue connoisseur, if you will, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it's like tradition. So we do it. And my dad wasn't going to go. And so we come out of the drive, we start driving, and I'm supposed to turn right. I decide to turn left, and my mom is like freaking out in the back seat.
This
let
is
me
not
tell
the
you,
way to the Piggly Wiggly.
my mom is a horrible backseat driver. Like, she will tell you if you're getting close to the curb, all of that kind of stuff. And so anyway, I took a left. And I was vowed and determined not to tell her what I was going to do. But I took the left. She's screaming, hollering, you're going the wrong direction. I come up with some excuse. Like, I think I saw some construction on the way in or something, white lie. And we kept going. And then I missed another turn. And then she's like just going nuts in the back. And finally, I turned right and into a restaurant called Yes Buffet. And I don't know how to describe it except a Golden Corral for Chinese food. It's just a Chinese food buffet. They also have sushi that I wouldn't be caught dead eating, because I'm pretty sure if I ate it, I might die. I don't know. But they do have some good food. And it happens to be my mom's favorite restaurant and her favorite type of food. And Dad will not eat Chinese food. So all of that to say, it started with food, and then that theme continued. The next morning, got up, had breakfast with a friend, and then lunch with a friend, and then dinner with another set of friends. And then, of course, Thursday was eating all day long. Friday was another round of breakfast, lunch, dinner with people, because we're just catching up with all of our people, because that was home for us. All of our friends and family are there. But we ate a lot, slept a lot, and ate a little more, saw some movies. I saw Creed 2 while we were there, which was phenomenal. Also saw the Fantastic Beast, The Crimes of Whatever, and that was great. But I just probably got all of the homeschool parents are now already boycotting our show because I watched Harry Potter. But anyway.
This homeschool family went and saw it.
So you went to the beach, though?
Yes. Yeah. So, last Christmas when we were together with my wife.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. But
Hey, I didn't even get anything out of my Driving Miss Daisy reference a while ago. This is not the way to the Piggly Wiggly. So you were driving Miss Hensley. But
I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. Classic movie. Anyway. So
if it's a classic, I haven't seen it.
We went to South Padre Island, and last Christmas when we were making this plan, Thanksgiving at the beach just seemed like the best idea, right? In November, hey, it'll be warm. So we hop in the car, we drive forever, and get to the beach, and we get there Tuesday night, and it's raining. So we did very Texan things, right? So I have my Texas home sweatshirt on. The first thing that we did when we got to South Padre is we got dinner at Whataburger, Matt. So
yes, we did the same thing. I forgot about that. That was our first. We didn't even stop until we made it to Whataburger.
We had, so on our way, we had Chick-fil-A and then we had Whataburger when we got there. So, I mean, it was a good day other than, being in a van for 12 hours. It was a good day.
At least it wasn't down by the river.
Yeah, that's right. So Wednesday we get up and it's raining. So we went to like a turtle. They have a sea turtle hospital there, sea turtle learning center. And so all day Wednesday it rains. We get up Thursday and it's raining. And so we did a dolphin watch, which is something you can't do in the desert really. Right. So on Thanksgiving Day, we did a dolphin watch, and we ordered in Thanksgiving dinner, fried turkey, mashed potatoes. And I was so excited because we ordered a pumpkin pie, and I go to pick it up from this restaurant that we ordered this from. And there's literally a Walmart sticker on the pumpkin pie that we picked up.
That's what you deserve.
So, yeah. So Friday we get up, it's finally not raining. It finally is warmish enough that we can go swim in the ocean for a little while before hypothermia sets in. And so our Thanksgiving at the beach, it was a great time. We had a good time with family, but it was not quite the beach Thanksgiving we were hoping for.
Yeah. And I wanted to kind of butt in there to say that I wonder if the rain was like judgment from God for skipping worship with your church family on Sunday.
So I worshiped at my home church on Sunday morning. We got back to my mom's house Saturday night, and I was in church on Sunday morning, and didn't tell anybody I was coming. And in fact, the pastor there stood up and said, "Kyle, why didn't you tell me that you were going to be here? I would have had you preach." And I said, "That's exactly why I told Mom not to tell anyone I was coming, because I just wanted to come and sit and worship."
Yeah. And so I went to my childhood church as well. And awesome. And something somewhat similar happened, but I think he knows better than to have me preach. I've asked him a couple of times, and it just always, we've got other things going on, and he just knows better. But I'm walking in, and they're getting started, and he's like, and we've got some of our guest here today. We're so grateful that you've come and joined us. And I see two preacher boys there in the back, our own Matt Hensley. And I thought, this is why we don't do the meet and greet.
That's exactly right.
And because every eye, 500 people or whatever in there, every eye turns around and looks at me, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And then that's not, uncomfortable enough. Then they actually do the meet and greet. And so,
everyone is coming up. "Oh, Matt, it's so good to see you. And you need to shave." And
that was, I had several people tugging my beard, and I'm like, I will pull this gun out right now. Like, do not touch my beard. And
this podcast does not condone violence, ladies and gentlemen.
Every Sunday school teacher that I had to tell my girls, I had Matt in my class. He kicked all these kids in the shin. It was so wonderful. So that was our trip home. You went to church, but we were able to do that because we just decided to close our church
that's
on
right.
Sunday.
Gone.
I mean, that's what we do. Pastor's gone. No. So in order for us to be able to do that, a few things have to take place. And one of those is we've got to figure out somebody to preach. If you're like me, where you're leading worship and doing some other stuff as well, you have to fill in some of that. And we know that a number of our listeners are in church revitalization settings, and they might be the sole guy on staff. And you don't necessarily have a big pool of people to pull from. And so I'm going to stop talking and let Kyle take this away and tell you exactly how you can get away and enjoy time at the beach with your family for a holiday. Kyle, go for it.
Yeah. So for those of us who are in some sort of denominational, in a denomination, you have options, right? So we have local association guys, and I believe that's what you did, right? You had our director of missions preach at your church, who's a member of my church. So you're welcome.
He tithed to us, so I don't care. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
And so, for a long time, that's what I did. Is I would go to our denominational guys, either at the associational level or the state level, and say, hey, this is the Sunday I'm going to be out. Now, usually the caveat there is sometimes you've got to plan those a ways out because those guys get busy. But now, and this is the first church I've ever experienced this. We have some gentlemen in our church who are able to preach, some former pastors, and so. In fact, this whole year, when I was out, I didn't have to bring anybody in from the outside. We have men in our church, and I'm working on raising up a couple of more, even having them preach, hopefully in 2019, once or twice while I'm there, which will be really awesome to just get to sit and listen to a message in our own church. But that's one of the blessings that I have is I have guys there now. Like you, I play in our praise team, so I don't leave a very big hole when I leave, but it is that's there, and then I teach a Sunday school class too. So and maybe you'll resonate with this too, man. Being gone is stressful for me because I wake up on Sunday morning. In fact, even sitting in my mom's church, I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, all right, it's 11 o'clock. Back home, this is what's about to happen there, and I just get stressed out, wondering what's going to go wrong, who's not going to show up, is the heater going to get turned on, all the doors are going to be unlocked. But it's really good for me too, I think, to unplug from that and realize, hey, the church doesn't live and die based on my presence there, week in and week out. So it's good to be gone. How about you? What do you do? I would say
that I am pretty good at completely unplugging during that week. And it's after the fact or before when that's when I really either am stressed leading up to it and maybe guilty leading after it. We talked about this the other day. What really bothers me, especially being, the only pastor here and in a very small town and in a kind of an older town, that I realize that we have a number of widows and widowers. We've got a number of people that all of their kids maybe are gone. And part of me aches knowing that I'm pulling out about the time that most of these people's kind of, the heaviness around the holidays is setting in. And so I realized that a number of them, we've have things in the community for them to do, but part of me feels guilty after the fact of what ministry opportunities did I miss being gone? And then leading up to it, of course, stress of just lining up who's going to play the piano, who's going to do this, who's going to do that, and so forth. And, we've got the mission home to line up to, and who's going to stay in that. And so there's all of that leading up to it. That's a lot of work, but I'm really good at completely unplugging during the trip. And awesome. It's after and before that I stress over and feel guilty over. And I don't know that that's, I think on the one hand, I hesitate to say it's a good feeling, because I think it's a good thing that I ache for my people. But at the same time, I should invest in my family and should invest in being home. And so we've tossed around, as a family, just talking through, are there other ways we could do this and make it work? Either picking like a week, like right in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, that could be like a Thanksmas or something, and just combine the two so that we can be here for those weeks. But there's just some of that we're still wrestling with because we're still young. We have older kids, 7, 8, 9, 10 or whatever, but we've only had them for a couple of years. And so we're still doing a lot of stuff kind of by the seat of our pants. And so if there's anybody listening in that has figured out exactly how to do this, feel free to let me know. But that's where I struggle, is on the ends of it, before and after the trip.
And so holidays at Mayhill, so Thanksgiving or this last Sunday, was this a high attendance Sunday or a low attendance Sunday in Mayhill?
It was relatively normal. I think we had maybe about 10 less than normal. But we also, like the week before, we had a bunch of people out, and then we did have several that had a lot of family that had come into town. We also had one join. And so that's really cool. And that was one that we had expected come at some point here pretty soon. But that was really neat. And, but Gary, as you mentioned, our associational director, missionary, whatever, now
associational missions strategist.
Okay.
Matt.
Director of missions. The director of missions came and he preached, and he's got a lot of connections to our church. And so that was great. And they love him and they really enjoy it when he preaches. And so that was really good for him to be up there and have that time. And our folks enjoyed it. And I had a number of messages after about how God had moved in the service, how we had been prayed for during the service, all of these different things that really meant a lot to me. But like I said, I can really unplug well. It's just leading up to it and then coming back. I usually stress over what did I miss out on. Yeah. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, ours was a really low Sunday. And so what I've noticed in the 2.5 years, so this will be my third Thanksgiving and Christmas season, we'll have either really, really good attendance or really, really bad attendance. And it just depends on who's in town and who's leaving town, right? So, I mean, if like folks are hosting Christmas or Thanksgiving, we have a really good one. If folks are traveling, it's really, it's not. So, but, and that's so when we go, we have a family of 4, right? You have obviously a family of 6 that leave when you're gone. So yeah, it's interesting to see the dynamics of holidays in church revitalization. But hear this. So if you're in a church revitalization setting, or just in a church in general, you might feel the pressure to be present, as Matt said. And certainly if your church does like a big Christmas Eve service or something like that may be a requirement for you to work. This year, since Christmas Eve is on Monday, we're actually doing our candlelight service on Sunday night on the 23rd, and then our family will be traveling on the 24th. But one of the things that I've learned is you don't have to ask permission to go spend time with your family. You don't have to apologize for that either. So holidays are special times. One of the things I've learned with my dad passing away, and Matt, I know, with aging parents as well, those are precious moments. And so brothers, take the time, spend time with your family, love on your kids, make the holidays special. And if you can, and have as many pumpkin spice lattes as possible with your Whataburger.
Hey, I had the peppermint something or other from Chick-fil-A just for Bart Barber. I forgot to tell you.
His peppermint milkshake at Chick-fil-A. Yeah.
Which, and with everything that's peppermint, it has the same thing for me. Peppermint, like the mochas, peppermint bark, whatever. If it has peppermint in it, it always tastes amazing until you're done. In all of them, it doesn't matter what. It always has, I feel like, I have to go get coffee or something completely different to get that taste out of my mouth. But Kyle made a good point, and kind of has encouraged me in some of my struggles with being gone for some of that is these are precious moments for our parents too. They because they're my grandparents, they never had a chance just to be grandparents. So I know it's a gift to them just as much as it is for me, and seeing them kind of light up was very special for my mom, and I wouldn't trade that for the world. We had our mentor. One more story. Our mentor came over, and with each of our girls, when they've gotten saved, there is a James Avery. It's a jewelry store or whatever, I think a Christian jeweler, that they give them
it's
like
Chick-fil-A of jewelry stores.
Yeah, they give them a locket, and or not a locket, like a jewelry charm type deal. And it always has some special meaning that she has picked out for each of them. Like we've got one that is a leader, one that she believes is a warrior, one that she believes is, like a flower, all these different things. So she gets that, she comes over and presents it to them and kind of like a real moving way. And so we got to do that. And anytime I get to see them is a cherished moment as well. And so it was a great trip. I'm glad you got to go to the beach, and I'm glad that you made time for Whataburger. And maybe on the next episode, I can show a little glimpse at my Whataburger shoes that I got.
I saw those. My wife is very jealous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you loved her, you'd order them for her. Just saying.
They're sold out. I looked it up. They're sold out. You got
That's even better. That's even, well, I doubt she needed a size 13 or 14 or whatever it was. But it's time to hop off the train. Until next time, we're grateful that you took the time to listen in today. And if you haven't, I don't know why you would, but please leave a 5-star review and subscribe to us on iTunes or whatever podcast you use. And we really appreciate your support and ask you to visit us online at www.notanother.baptistpodcast.com or on Facebook under Not Another Baptist Podcast or on Twitter at NAB_podcast. Kyle, send us out.
Until next time, may your coffee be as black as night and as bold as the gospel you declare. Bless you guys. Have a wonderful week.
You too.